Hello everybody, Ellie here for WhoCulture, and oh my goodness, it's all kicking off, isn't it? It is all kicking off in the Whoniverse. Ooh, the drama! In fact, let's just get straight into the drama, shall we? I'm sure many of you will have seen a report from The Sun floating around in the last 24 hours-ish that suggests that Doctor Who is going to be axed and Ncuti Gatwa is quitting, among many other things that, quite honestly, not the case. So I'm going to just give you a very brief quote from the article so you can get a feel for what is being suggested here. Doctor Who is facing the axe with star Ncuti Gatwa poised to quit and crew claiming to be laid off. Bosses have postponed any decision until Ncuti's second season has aired later this year, but the Scot, 32, is already believed to have filmed his regeneration exit scene, and crew fear the BBC will shelve the show after 62 years. An insider said Ncuti doesn't want to be tied to the series beyond this and plans to relocate to Los Angeles with several Hollywood projects standing by for him. So there are some things in this article as well that I didn't just talk about there that I think some people will very strongly agree with, some people will very strongly disagree with. I've seen lots of discourse in the Twitterverse and on social media with regards to some of the things said in this article. We've had some mention of viewing figures. I've spoken about that whole viewing figure situation in the past. Again, we're hearing the same thing again about no decision being made until after season 2. This again isn't really news to us. We've been hearing this for what feels like forever at this point. I think the thing in this article that certainly is a new development is the idea that Ncuti Gatwa will be stepping away from the role. If I'm being totally honest, straight off the bat, it doesn't surprise me necessarily if this does turn out to be the case. If you'll recall, at the beginning of this year, we did a bold predictions for the year video, and one of my predictions did revolve around Ncuti Gatwa either announcing his departure, actually him departing, his replacement at least being announced, and this particular area of the article doesn't shock me as much as some of the other things. Now, within the article as well, and since then with Radio Times, we have had a response from the BBC, and this is what they said. Doctor Who has not been shelved. As we have previously stated, the decision on season 3 will be made after season 2 airs. The deal with Disney Plus was for 26 episodes, and exactly half of those still have to transmit. So again, as we have been hearing this whole time, season 2 has to air before a decision is made on season 3. This is not news to us. We've been saying this so many times. I've been saying this until I'm blue in the face. No decision on season 3 until season 2 airs. And of those 26 episodes, we've obviously got season 1, season 2, we've had the 60th anniversary specials, we've also got the Christmas specials, we've got the War Between the Land and the Sea. So we still do have those. I also, just before I go into more detail, my thoughts on the areas of this article, it is important to point out here that The Sun in particular does have a bad track record when it comes to Doctor Who news. Now, for those of you who might be unfamiliar with The Sun, this is a tabloid newspaper here in the UK. Okay, so this is hardly something like The Guardian or The Washington Post or The Hollywood Reporter. This is tabloid news. Take everything that comes from The Sun with a pinch of salt. And as I said, in terms of Doctor Who news, they have a track record for reporting on things that are just entirely not the case. So in 2006, for example, before Series 3 had finished filming and about a year before Series 4 had even started filming, they claimed that David Tennant had quit. Obviously that did not happen, and he stayed until the 2009 and 2010 specials, so that was false. Then in 2021, they reported very confidently that Ollie Alexander will be taking over the role of the Doctor after Jodie Whittaker. Again, turned out to be entirely untrue. And then in 2022, they claimed that Jodie Whittaker would be denied a regeneration scene, and then Doctor Who would have a break before a complete reboot. Again, Jodie Whittaker did indeed have a regeneration scene. I guess if you want to look at this new RTD2 era, maybe that's the reboot, but again, not true. And then also in 2022, they reported that Matt Smith and David Tennant would be returning for the 60th anniversary, and I don't need to remind any of you that Matt Smith did not in fact appear in any form in the 60th anniversary episodes. So again, not true, The Sun. But regardless of whether there's truth to what's in this article or not, let's just reiterate. I mean, I feel like at this point a bit of a broken record because I do keep saying this, I reiterate this every single time we come to cover a topic in a similar vein to this. Regardless of what happens, Doctor Who, the show, will be fine. The Doctor Who universe is not going to disappear like that, okay? While I personally do feel that it's more likely that Disney is not going to renew their deal, that doesn't mean that Doctor Who is dead. It just means that Disney will no longer be involved with Doctor Who anymore, and it just means that either the BBC will take over and just be the sole creators of Doctor Who once more, as they have been for the last 60 odd years anyway, or they will find a new streaming partner. It doesn't mean that Doctor Who is cancelled just because Disney won't continue with them. It just means that the Disney budget is gone. Perfectly fine. It was perfectly fine without the Disney budget. It can be perfectly fine again. As I said earlier, I think the thing in this article that does bear more attention and does ring to be maybe have more truth to it, I would suggest is more likely to be the case, does revolve around the rumours of Ncuti Gatwa leaving Doctor Who. Now, I won't go into too much detail, mostly because there aren't many details. I have heard a few things through the grapevine which would suggest that this is the case. But again, there's no confirmation of that. Don't take that as gospel. That is just, again, things floating through the grapevine from various sources. But to be honest with you, without even having any sort of whispers here and there or any confirmation, as I say, to me, this is not surprising. I think when you look at Ncuti Gatwa as an actor, and I mentioned this again in the predictions at the beginning of the year, Ncuti Gatwa is a young, up-and-coming, popular actor. And if they can't make up their minds on what's going to happen with the show until after season 2, and they keep delaying and pushing back and making him wait around, I do not blame him for thinking, actually, I have other offers that I could be taking here, and I'm turning down great opportunities on the off chance that they may have some Doctor Who for me. Now, I know as fans, we will look at this role and go, this is the offer. This is the best offer you're ever going to get. Why would you turn that down? Why would you not just wait around for it? But I think we're forgetting we're looking at this as fans, as opposed to as an actor, as someone whose job this is, whose livelihood this is. And for him, it may not be the be-all and end-all of life to be the Doctor. I know he has spoken before that he wanted to play the part, but if he is turning down great opportunities because they're telling him he needs to wait around and maybe they'll have some Doctor Who, that's not really fair. And I'm sure I've certainly been in the situation where I'm waiting for the job I want to get back to me, but they're stringing me along and not giving me an answer. All the while, there are other jobs out there that I could be going for. And it's just, you've got to remember this is a job for him. We're looking at it as, oh, why would you ever not want to be in Doctor Who? But it's not as simple as that. The thing is as well is, yes, we may have always had this season 2 has to air before we find out about season 3. But even if that is the case, if Disney doesn't go ahead, then we don't know how long it's going to take for the BBC to sort out what they're going to do before they can then start filming for season 3. So again, even if the decision's made fairly quickly, there's still going to be a delay. And all the while, Ncuti Gatwa is missing out on opportunities because he's waiting around for this. You know, even if they leave it open-ended, and he has filmed a potential regeneration, there's nothing to say that when the time comes, he might be available and then they could just pick up where they left off. I don't know if he leaves amicably, if they have a discussion about it, but at the moment it feels very much like he's being held, not allowed to do anything else, but also having nothing to do, if that makes sense. Like, I feel like it's like a contractual obligation that you're not allowed to do another job. All the while, you're not giving me anything to do either, so I'm just waiting around, and that must be quite frustrating and boring. I do think when we look at the BBC response to this article, it's very telling, I feel, that they address the show being axed accusation. They address the season 3 debacle. There is absolutely no addressing of Ncuti Gatwa in the BBC's response. They completely gloss over the whole part of that article that talks about Ncuti Gatwa leaving. So I think that's quite telling. I do feel that they've probably decided it's best to say nothing as opposed to confirm it or outright lie. It did immediately jump out to me that the response completely ignored the Ncuti rumours. So who knows? Who knows what's going to happen there? The thing is, at the end of the day, every Doctor Who era has a moment where it's, oh my goodness, the sky is falling, it's all over, we're all doomed, the show's cancelled. I mean, during the Chibnall era, we had this infamous Chaos in Cardiff rumour, okay? Basically, it was started by people who hated the show, and they claimed that Chibnall and Jodie Whittaker had both quit during the production of Series 12 because it was all going terribly wrong, it was all going awfully, and obviously that was utter nonsense. They stayed on to do Series 13, they did a handful of specials, and it was all utter rubbish. So we have these moments all the time. We have moments where the sky is falling, the world is over, and it all turns out fine in the end. To be honest with you, I just feel like this whole situation revolving around most of this new era, to be honest, I'm a bit bored. I'm a bit bored of the people arguing with each other. Maybe it's because I'm more active on social media than I ever used to be. I just feel like I'm stuck in this void at the moment of people just at each other all the time. And I want some joy and a bit of happiness and a bit of positivity. And at the moment, it just feels like, oh, they said this, they said that, he said this, they said that, she said this, and it backwards and forwards, and I just want to watch Doctor Who. I just want to sit and escape the world and enjoy a bit of quirky alien adventures. That's what I want. I don't like all the drama. I mean, that's a lie. I do like a bit of drama every now and then. But at this point, this drama's getting boring. Let's move on, shall we? Anyway, let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. As I say, let's be kind. Have your differing views. That is absolutely fine. But we don't need to start arguing in the comments. That will make me very unhappy if I start seeing people arguing in the comments. That's exactly what I'm bored of seeing. So, in fact, let's just fill the comments with something fun and exciting. In fact, let's pick an emoji. I would like to see the comments filled with cats. Cats emojis, please. That's what I'd like to see in the comments. And if I see those cats in the comments, I know that you've actually listened to what I've said. I've been Ellie for WhoCulture, and in the words of Riversong herself, goodbye, sweeties.